That bottle of vodka sitting in your freezer right now, the one you bought because the packaging promised Nordic purity, glacial water, or centuries of Scandinavian tradition, it's all been a lie. In January 2023, the World Health Organization declared there is no safe level of alcohol consumption. Their exact words, "The risks to the drinker's health start from the first drop." They classified alcohol alongside asbestos, radiation, and tobacco as a carcinogen. Yet walk into any Systembolaget, Vinmonopolet, or duty-free shop today, and you will find these exact brands still dominating the vodka aisle, still making purity claims, still charging premium prices for what is fundamentally a toxic substance wrapped in clever marketing. Today, we are exposing the 8 vodka brands Scandinavian consumers and vodka lovers worldwide need to stop buying immediately. We are breaking down exactly what is hiding behind those familiar bottles, why the Nordic heritage marketing is misleading, and most importantly, we are giving you the truth about the corporations that own these brands and where your money actually goes. Starting with the worst offenders. Number 1, Absolut. Sweden's most iconic vodka brand that is not Swedish anymore. Absolut is everywhere. It is sold in 126 countries worldwide. It is the 3rd largest spirits brand on earth after Smirnoff and Bacardi. Over 100 million liters produced annually. Swedes have been buying it since 1879, trusting the name Lars Olsen Smith built, that familiar bottle with the blue lettering that screams Swedish heritage. But Absolut is not a Swedish company anymore. The brand was founded in 1879 by Lars Olsen Smith, a genuine Swedish entrepreneur who challenged Stockholm's liquor monopoly. In 1917, the Swedish government nationalized the alcohol industry. For decades, Absolut was truly Swedish, owned by the state through a company called Vin and Sprit. But in 2008, the Swedish government sold Absolut to Pernod Ricard, a French multinational corporation, for 5.63 billion euros. That is not a typo. The Swedish state sold off one of its most valuable cultural exports to a French conglomerate. There is nothing Swedish about Absolut anymore except the wheat and the water. Your money goes to Paris, not Stockholm. Pernod Ricard is the world's 2nd largest wine and spirits company, a corporation with operations in 73 countries that treats Swedish vodka as just another product line in a portfolio that includes everything from Jameson whiskey to Beefeater gin to Malibu rum. But the foreign ownership is not even the biggest scandal. In 2023, Pernod Ricard was caught resuming exports of Absolut to Russia, over a year after Russia invaded Ukraine. Sweden's Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said he was very surprised to learn Swedish products were being shipped to Russia. Politicians called the decision spineless, a moral collapse, and a gift to Putin. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Bars and restaurants across Stockholm pulled Absolut from their shelves. Swedish consumers called for boycotts. The pressure became so intense that Pernod Ricard reversed course within days, but only after trying to justify the exports by claiming they needed to protect Russian employees from criminal liability. Think about what that means. A French corporation briefly prioritized access to the Russian market over Swedish public sentiment during an ongoing invasion of a European neighbor. That is not a company that cares about Nordic values. That is a corporation that cares about profit margins. You thought you were buying Sweden's pride and joy? You were actually funding a French multinational that tried to do business with Russia during an active war. Number 2, Koskenkorva. Finland's national spirit hiding behind a corporate merger. Koskenkorva is Finland's best-selling vodka brand, a cultural institution dating back to 1953, when the first bottles rolled off the production line in a small village in southern Ostrobothnia. The Finns call it Kosu for short. It is practically a national symbol, as Finnish as saunas and Nokia. The marketing tells a beautiful story. A remote village, 2,200 inhabitants, farmers who have been growing barley for generations, crystal clear spring water, the craft of distillation passed down through decades. The bottle even features an illustration of the village landscape, those distinctive barns and endless fields. But Koskenkorva is not owned by a charming Finnish village anymore. It is owned by Anora Group, a publicly traded corporation formed in 2021 through the merger of Finnish Altia and Norwegian Arcus. This merger was so concerning to competition regulators that authorities in Finland, Sweden, and Norway all demanded the companies divest several brands before approving the deal. Galatea Spirits, a Swedish company, ended up buying 7 brands that regulators deemed would give Anora unfair market dominance. Anora is now the leading wine and spirits conglomerate in the entire Nordic region, with offices in every Nordic capital and a portfolio of dozens of brands. They dominate the market, holding shares ranging from 15% to over 50% across different spirits categories in different countries. This is not a village distillery. This is a publicly traded corporation with shareholders demanding growth and profit. The state-owned heritage that once defined Finnish vodka is gone. Altia was spun off from the Finnish alcohol monopoly Alko in 1999. What was once a public institution designed to manage alcohol responsibly became a privatized company focused on expansion and profit. The Finnish state gradually sold off its ownership stakes. When you buy Koskenkorva today, you are not supporting Finnish farmers in a remote village. You are supporting a Nordic corporate giant with a stock listing on the Helsinki Exchange, quarterly earnings reports, and institutional investors demanding returns. The village still exists. The distillery still operates there, but the money flows to corporate shareholders, not the community that built the brand. Number 3, Explorer Vodka, Sweden's Viking-themed vodka that failed in America and got passed around like a corporate orphan. Explorer Vodka positions itself as the adventurous choice. The bottle features a Viking ship on a voyage of discovery, complete with red and white sails. The marketing invokes Nordic exploration, Swedish heritage, pure wheat distillation. The real story is far less romantic. Explorer was developed in the 1950s by V&S Group, the same Swedish state-owned company that made Absolut. It was specifically designed to appeal to American consumers, launched in the United States in 1958. The launch failed. Americans did not buy it. Rejected by its target market, Explorer was then released in Sweden in 1961, essentially a product that could not find success abroad being dumped on the domestic market. For some periods, it became one of Sweden's most popular vodkas. But that says more about limited competition in a monopoly retail system than about product quality. The corporate ownership history reads like a game of hot potato. V&S Group owned it. Then in 2010, Pernod Ricard, the same French company that bought Absolut, sold Explorer along with several other Swedish and Danish brands to Altia, the Finnish state company. The deal was worth 85 million euros and included over 280 employees. So Explorer went from Swedish state ownership to French corporate ownership to Finnish corporate ownership. And when Altia merged with Arcus in 2021 to form Anora, Explorer became part of yet another corporate restructuring. Here is what makes Explorer particularly questionable. Despite being marketed as Swedish, the vodka is actually produced in Rajamäki, Finland, according to international spirits competition records. The wheat spirit distilled at the Koskenkorva plant in Finland is then processed and bottled elsewhere. The Viking imagery, the Swedish heritage claims, the exploration narrative, all of it is marketing designed to sell a product that American consumers rejected 60 years ago. The original bottle was designed by Swedish ex-prince Sigvard Bernadotte, which sounds impressive until you realize that is just another marketing story attached to a product that has changed corporate hands multiple times. You thought you were buying Swedish Viking heritage? You were actually buying a corporate orphan that could not succeed in its intended market. Number 4, Danska, Denmark's aluminum-bottled vodka that has been owned by French, then German corporations. Danska positions itself as quintessentially Danish. The name is a play on the word dansk, meaning Danish, with a Z and K ending to make it sound Slavic, and therefore more vodka authentic. It comes in a distinctive brushed aluminum bottle designed by Danish designers, marketed as made to chill. The Danish heritage marketing is slick. Danish whole wheat, pure Danish water extracted from underground sources. 6-column distillation using the original Scandinavian method. The aluminum packaging is supposed to keep the vodka cold longer and travels better than glass. All very appealing. But Danska has not been a Danish company for years. The brand was created in 1989 by Vinhuset Norden. Then Danish distillers acquired it. Then in 2005, Vin and Sprit, the Swedish state company that owned Absolut, bought it. Then French company Belvedere SA acquired it. Then in 2013, German family business Waldemar Bain GmbH purchased Danska from Belvedere. That is 5 different corporate owners in less than 30 years. Danish to Swedish state to French to German. The brand's headquarters is now located on the Baltic Sea in former Danish territory that is currently Germany. The acquisition by Bain was described as the largest in the German company's 121-year history. Waldemar Bain is the company behind Dooley's Original Toffee Liqueur and Kleiner Feigling, hardly prestige spirits brands. Danska is now their flagship vodka product, positioned primarily for the global duty-free and travel retail market. According to industry reports, Danska was the 4th best-selling premium vodka in global duty-free. That sounds impressive until you realize the duty-free market is essentially where brands go to extract maximum profit from travelers who have limited choices and cannot easily compare prices. The Danish imagery is pure marketing. The ownership is German. The strategy is global duty-free. And the aluminum bottle that is supposed to be so convenient and premium? It is also a cost-saving measure that reduces breakage during shipping, which matters a lot more when your business model depends on airport retail. You thought you were buying authentic Danish design and craftsmanship. You were actually buying a corporate asset that got traded between owners until a German liqueur company saw profit potential in airport shops. If you found value in this investigation so far, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We are about to expose how the biggest vodka brands in Scandinavia are all connected to the same corporate structures and reveal what the industry does not want you to know about the purity claims they make. You will not want to miss this. Number 5. Viking Fjord. Norway's glacier water vodka, owned by the same Nordic mega corporation. Viking Fjord markets itself as distinctly Norwegian, distilled from potatoes. Glacial water from the Jostedalsbreen Glacier in southwestern Norway. 5-column distillation process. Gold medals from the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Best vodka at the International Wine and Spirit Competition in London. The origin story sounds authentic. Launched in 1985 through a partnership between Vinmonopolet, Norway's state-owned alcohol monopoly, and the American supplier Højblein. When initial sales disappointed and Højblein was acquired by Grand Metropolitan, Vinmonopolet focused on the domestic market. The brand was relaunched in Norway in 1986 and eventually found success. But Viking Fjord is not owned by the Norwegian state anymore. It is owned by Arcus, which merged with Altia in 2021 to form Anora Group, the same Nordic corporate giant that owns Koskenkorva and Explorer Vodka. This means 3 of the vodka brands on this list, Koskenkorva, Explorer, and Viking Fjord, are all owned by the exact same corporation. 3 different bottles, 3 different stories, 3 different countries of origin, 1 corporate owner. Arcus itself has a complicated history. It was spun off from Vinmonopolet in 1996 when the Norwegian monopoly was forced to separate its retail and production functions due to European trade agreements. Swedish investment company Ratos bought Arcus in 2005. Danish distillers brands were acquired from Pernod Ricard in 2012. The company went public in 2016. Then came the Anora merger, and with that merger came regulatory concerns. Competition authorities in 3 countries forced brand divestitures to prevent unfair market dominance. When regulators are concerned about a company having too much control over the Nordic spirits market, that should tell you something about how consolidated this industry has become. Viking Fjord is positioned as a premium vodka in the United States, where it ranks among the top 10 imported vodkas. But premium pricing and glacier water claims aside, your money is going to the same corporate structure as several other brands, pretending to be independent heritage products. You thought you were buying authentic Norwegian glacier vodka. You were actually buying another product from the Nordic spirits monopoly that regulators tried to constrain. Number 6. Reyka. Iceland's first vodka. owned by a Scottish whiskey giant. VODKA positions itself as the ultimate pure vodka, distilled in Borgarnes, Iceland, population 2,000, filtered through lava rock, made with glacial spring water from a 4,000-year-old lava field, powered by geothermal energy from underground volcanoes, one of the few Carter head stills in the world. A master distiller who is also the local fireman and policeman. The marketing is brilliant. Iceland has a reputation for pristine nature, clean air, and environmental purity. VODKA leverages all of it. The name means smoke in Icelandic, referencing the volcanic geothermal energy. The bottle features Mount Hekla, one of Iceland's most famous volcanoes. But VODKA is not an Icelandic company. It is owned by William Grant & Sons, a Scottish whiskey corporation that also owns Glenfiddich, the Balvenie, and Hendrick's Gin. William Grant is the third largest producer of Scotch whiskey in the world, with 8% market share. William Grant established the distillery in Borgarnes in 2005, specifically to enter the premium vodka market. This was not an Icelandic entrepreneurial venture. This was a Scottish corporation identifying a market opportunity and using Iceland's reputation to capture premium pricing. Here is what the marketing conveniently omits. The grain spirit used to make VODKA is not actually distilled in Iceland from local ingredients. The base spirit is distilled from barley in Scotland and then shipped to Iceland for the final distillation and filtration process. The barley is Scottish, the initial distillation is Scottish, only the final steps happen in Iceland. The vodka is then shipped back to Scotland for bottling at William Grant's facility, the same one used for Hendrick's Gin. So VODKA's journey is Scottish barley to Scottish distillery to Icelandic distillery to Scottish bottling facility to global distribution. The lava rock filtration and glacial water happen in Iceland, but calling this an Icelandic vodka is a stretch when so much of the production happens in Scotland. William Grant is a family-owned company, which sounds charming until you realize they donated approximately £100,000 to the campaign against Scottish independence in 2014 and additional smaller sums to other unionist groups. A company that profits from Scottish whiskey while opposing Scottish self-determination. You thought you were buying pure Icelandic volcanic vodka. You were actually buying a Scottish corporation's marketing project that imports grain spirit, processes it briefly in Iceland, then ships it back to Scotland for bottling. Number 7, Absolute Level. The discontinued premium vodka that proves even corporate giants fail. Absolute Level was launched in 2004 as Pernod Ricard's answer to Grey Goose. The pitch was simple. Take the Absolute name, add premium positioning, charge more money. Made in Aarhus, Sweden, same as regular Absolute. Winter wheat, continuous distillation to remove impurities, batch distillation to add character. Marketed as perfectly balanced. The bottle was different. The branding was different. The price was higher. Everything else was essentially the same production facility using the same raw materials. Level Vodka no longer exists. It was discontinued. Pernod Ricard's attempt to compete in the super premium vodka category failed. But here is why this matters. The fact that a corporation as large as Pernod Ricard could not successfully sell essentially the same vodka at a higher price tells you everything you need to know about how vodka marketing works. The product was fine. The production was legitimate. The corporate resources behind it were massive. It still failed. This proves that vodka success has almost nothing to do with product quality and almost everything to do with marketing narratives. Grey Goose succeeded with French luxury positioning. Belvedere succeeded with Polish heritage. Level had no story except being a more expensive Absolute, and that was not enough. The failure of Level also shows the absurdity of premium vodka pricing. If Absolute's own parent company could not convince consumers that a more expensive version of Absolute was worth buying, what does that say about all the premium vodka claims across the industry? Vodka, by definition, is supposed to be a neutral spirit. The entire category is based on removing flavor and character through distillation. Yet consumers pay wildly different prices for products that are chemically almost identical. When you buy any premium vodka, you are not paying for better liquid. You are paying for better marketing. Level's failure proves that when the marketing narrative is weak, even a corporate giant cannot command premium prices. Number 8. Finlandia. Finland's global export vodka now owned by Coca-Cola. Finlandia was established in 1970 by Alko, Finland's state-owned alcohol company. It became one of the best-selling vodkas worldwide, ranked among the top for 6 consecutive years from 1977 to 1983. The marketing emphasized Finnish purity, glacial water, 6-row northern barley, over 200 distillation steps. The ownership history tells a different story. In 2000, American corporation Brown-Forman, the Kentucky company behind Jack Daniels, bought 45% of Finlandia. 2 years later, they bought another 35%. By 2004, Brown-Forman owned 100% of Finlandia, so Finland's signature vodka export became American-owned. The distillation and bottling stayed in Finland through a production agreement with Altia, later Anora, but the brand ownership and profits went to Louisville, Kentucky. Then Russia invaded Ukraine. Brown-Forman, like many companies, suspended operations in Russia, a key market for Finlandia. The brand's value collapsed. Brown-Forman recorded a $96 million non-cash impairment charge for Finlandia in early 2023, on top of a $52 million impairment the previous year. Nearly $150 million in value destroyed. So in June 2023, Brown-Forman sold Finlandia to Coca-Cola HBC for $220 million. Not the Coca-Cola company itself, but Coca-Cola Hellenic Bottling Company, a Switzerland-based bottler that serves 29 countries across Europe and Africa. Yes, Finnish vodka is now owned by a company primarily known for soft drinks. Coca-Cola HBC had been distributing Finlandia for 17 years and decided to own it outright. Their stated strategy is to become a 24/7 beverage partner with drinks for all occasions, and apparently that now includes vodka. Industry analysts immediately speculated about a vodka and Coke RTD, a ready-to-drink pre-mixed cocktail. The soft drink company buying vodka to create new product categories. That is the future of Finnish heritage vodka. The distillation still happens at the Koskenkorva plant in Finland through Anora. But the brand, the marketing, the profits all go to a soft drink bottler headquartered in Switzerland. You thought you were buying authentic Finnish vodka tradition. You were actually buying a brand that got passed from Finnish state to American whiskey company to European soft drink bottler, each owner extracting value while the heritage claims remained on the label. So what does this mean for you? First, understand that vodka purity claims are mostly marketing. By definition, vodka is distilled to be as neutral as possible. The differences between brands are minimal compared to the differences in their price tags. When you pay premium prices for glacial water or volcanic filtration, you are paying for stories, not chemistry. Second, if you care about supporting Nordic producers, research actual ownership. A Finnish-sounding name does not mean Finnish ownership. A Swedish bottle design does not mean Swedish corporate control. Follow the money, and you will usually find multinational corporations based in France, Germany, the United States, or Switzerland. Third, consider the consolidation problem. When one corporation owns multiple brands that appear to be competitors, you lose the ability to vote with your wallet. Choosing Koskenkorva over Vikingfjord feels like a choice, but both purchases go to the same corporate parent. Fourth, if you do drink vodka, consider genuinely small independent producers. They exist, but they are hard to find in monopoly retail systems that favor large suppliers with established distribution networks. Ask questions, demand transparency, and finally be honest about what vodka is. It is not a health product. It is not a wellness choice. The World Health Organization says there is no safe level of consumption. Every purity claim and heritage story is designed to make you feel better about buying something that poses real health risks. Which brand surprised you the most? Drop your experience in the comments. Thanks for watching.